Hello and welcome to another update video about the NASDAQ. Yeah, a lot of you asked me for a NASDAQ update. I can't keep up with so many indices with that frequency because I'm very busy with the S&P 500 that I'm updating on a daily basis in video updates. For our members, if you're interested, you can find the link in the description. It takes you to the Patreon page. It's the it's our stocks and share service, basically, or S&P 500 and stock service. So you'll get updates about stocks there and daily updates about the S&P 500. But one index is a lot of work, so can't always keep up with the NASDAQ as well. However, the setup discussed in the last video worked nicely. Just check what was going on in the last video. And I haven't changed the count, so we're going to do that together. In the last video, we talked about we can still focus on higher against this support area. And I showed you this A, B, C structure, and the price actually turned around where it needed to. At the time, we were just coming down in wave A, moved up in B, and then, the idea was to still get a C wave at least, or something more bearish. But the idea was that, okay, we have another, because we're still in an uptrend, we need confirmation that a top is in place with a 5-wave move below support. That didn't happen. In fact, the support area generated a nice trade setup. So we can take that off the chart. I want to share with you what my latest view of the wave count is. The idea is obviously that, so there are two wave counts. There are two wave counts. We can keep it simple. One count allows or calls this a B wave essentially. And probably I'd say, it would need to be here. So in one count, this is a B wave, a very high B wave. Some people might say that's invalid because it's too high. Well, it is too high to be a likely B wave, but it's not invalid, all right? B waves would normally not extend above the 1.38 extension. So I see this as more likely the extension of a third, which is what we talked about in the last video, I believe. So that's not this third wave larger degree, very high wave degree, didn't actually top here in March, but is in fact still unfolding. But that in practice, I mean, that's an academic discussion. In practice, that doesn't have any relevance, okay? If I call that B wave, I mean, it will down the line, but not now. If I call that a B wave, for which I think it is too high, or if I call that an extension of the third, okay, that we just get one more high here, it doesn't matter in practice. Either way, we have a very, very full wave count to the upside, which could top at any point. We don't need that resistance area anymore. And best is now to understand, okay, what is the relevant support area that we're dealing with here? Very extended to the upside. Very extended to the upside. And as I said in the last videos, I don't want to stand in the way of such a rally. So I'm not going to confirm a top in place until I get a break below support. And that, I think, has kept everybody safe. That's my approach with the S&P 500 as well. I'm on the side of caution, but I'm not bearish yet. So I'm not calling a top in place. Now, important is now to understand what would happen here. So first of all, this could be an overshooting B wave. But if we have if I go to the 4-hour chart, if we zoom out, it looks way overextended for an overshooting B wave. And if we have a very long correction ahead of us, then it's usually that main B wave that's overshooting, or this one, not the first one, right? So, but it has a bit of a 3-wave look now. Still, doesn't matter so much. Important is to understand, okay, what is in this move up, which would be wave 5 in yellow. I think the yellow count is my preferred count because it makes more sense with that strong rally. So let me just adjust that briefly. If this is a 5th, then we need to understand the microstructure here. The problem is that this rally looks like a 3-wave move. So I could say, okay, wave 1, 3 waves, wave 2 here, or it might even be A overshooting B wave, C wave down. Still, that looks like a 3-wave move up to me. And also, I can easily count that 5th wave as an ABC, also here ABC. So it looks like an ending diagonal, which is ending something. So that means I could say I would have to call that fifth wave then an ABC structure. So we'll say A, B, C. And that means the C wave is a 5-wave move and it's technically really full. Small 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I rule out further upside extensions? No. I mean, again, we can I'm not going to go into 15-minute charts, right? That's just ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, upside extensions still possible. I think the first top confirmation would be a break below this wave 4 low here. That would be, and that's at 19,770. Yeah. So this would be the first breakdown. If we break below this level, but in 5 waves, then I think we have a more substantial top in place. Until then, it would keep the door open for higher. Just thinking if something different could be going on. So this would be the initial trigger. Just thinking if we get another larger 4-5, then this is support. Okay, so that means, in simple words, we have an initial trigger that tells us that a top of sorts is likely in place if we break below 19,750 or 19,760, those swing lows from June. If we, however, also then break below 19,445, and especially if this is happening in a 5-wave structure, well, that would be a more solid confirmation of a top in place. We would need to look at the structure then, but this is where the warning lights would go on, right? Situation hasn't changed. We are very much overextended to the upside. The NASDAQ has extended even further than the S&P 500. But I think we're very close to top. But I would not be bearish until we break below support. Okay, so that's still my view. And I give you a support area there. Just be on the side of caution, but I would not short or anything until we get a first 5-wave move down, followed by a 3-wave corrective rally. That's the update about the NASDAQ. Hope you enjoyed the update. If you did, feel free to check out the stocks and S&P 500 service. Also leave a like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.